I cannot do this for every single one of you in your gear, but this is definitely a tutorial for after the mic.
Alright. I've heard a lot about, like, Pantera recently. I gotta hear, like, their biggest song. Apparently it's Cowboys from Hell. This is a metal band? I gotta get that tone.
So I went out of my way, saved up some money, and drove 4 hours and picked up a rando cab. Has 4 Jaguar RES 80 speakers inside of it, and this is definitely going to be a tough time because this is my first cab, my first setup. And in the same drive, 7 hours later, I bought a Randall RG100 ES amp head. And then I went and I got a 6-band, because you need a 6-band for dime tones apparently. I got a Dean from Hell with the Bill & Becky XL500L pickup in it. And then I flipped it, obviously. And so obviously that wasn't it. So I bought a 3-band parametric EQ from Sign Effect. Cost me a pretty penny, but it's worth it because it's about half as much as a Furman PQ3. Clearly, it wasn't working how people said it would. I was, adding and subtracting 20 decibels of gain both ways, and it was not doing anything. So, I bought a rack just so I could have more fun and figure out what I was doing wrong. So I filled it up, got the same power conditioner, same tuner, and got an oil exciter with big bottom, just like Dimebag did. I also got a noise gate, too. But, alas, once again, it didn't help and nothing improved. So, I went out of my way, and I bought a Furman PQ4. Yep, I spent $700 on an EQ for guitar. Clearly, I was going wrong somewhere, but I didn't know where. I had the 6-band running into the PQ4, running into the front of the amp, just like everyone said. So why wasn't it doing anything? Why was it barely changing my tone, if at all? I didn't know, so I stopped. And I started having fun playing guitar again. While I was researching doing Zakk Wylde tones, someone suggested putting the chorus in the effects loop of the amp. I didn't have a Zakk Wylde rig, but I did have a Dimebag rig. What if I tried the PQ4 in the effects loop of the amp? Oh, you actually want to hear me talk about this? Okay. This is the science of it. This is the boring part. You're just going to have to trust me. So these 2 top tracks are me playing Walk. Just generally just getting it out for this video. But this is the guitar, the 6-band EQ. Then it is the Randall, everything at noon besides presence, which is like 60%. Then it's the Jaguar RES 80 speakers. Then it's straight into this mic, actually. I'm just, recording it later. But it is a fairly simple tone for what it is. It is pretty boxy, pretty high. But if we listen to the real tone, this is an isolated guitar track, by the way. Just letting you know. The better the isolated track you have, the better your tones will turn out. Pretty in your face, right? No, none of that. Ha. So if we look at the EQ for the flat one, the brand, it's pretty flat. Pretty well there. If we look at the EQ for Dime's real tone from the isolated track, we get this. 1K hertz is incredibly cut. This number 3 right here, this is 1K. This is incredibly cut. So, what if we just, we took out one of the tracks and we panned it in the middle just so that we could hear it in full, and we just took that 1K playing it and we put it in there. But then this high end right here isn't flat. Maybe we drop in some more low mids. And we narrow this down because we need some more mids. But if we narrow it, it sounds a lot more like it with just 3 simple EQ changes. If we take that EQ off, I'll show you guys the real, more scientific way of actually looking at it. So let's open up this free plugin called Spectrum Matcher. And, if we just hit reset, because you have to pull it from isolated tracks to get good, clear tone. This is it. This blue curve is the walk tone. If we play it through, it'll get my tone in red up here. And down here you can see the comparison. If we just correct it, now let's do that with the other side. So let's pan this back left and grab this one and just turn on Spectrum Matcher since we already have it pulled up and correct it. We'll reset it, actually, because I feel like it. We'll unmute it. That sounds pretty close to the album, doesn't it? That's crazy, right? That it's just that simple. It is just a big 1,000 hertz drop, and it looks like it's just 2 big shelves. Odd. But regardless, you can do this with every dime tone. Get your amp to flat EQ with that, gainy boost in the front, and then you're done. It's over. Just drop 1,000 hertz. Just sharply drop 1,000 hertz. I cannot do this for every single one of you in your gear, but this is definitely a tutorial for after the mic, what you should look at, what you should consider, and just where it's at, how to do it. You can find information on all this stuff on YouTube just afterwards. I can't teach you how to just load up Reaper. That's the thing you got to learn on yourself. But now, we can just solo the isolated, right, and bring back mine. Now, granted, look, it's not going to bring back high end that isn't there to begin with on here. If you have an EQ in your effects loop of your amp in real life and you mess with it there, you're going to get closer to the tone. It's just how it works. But regardless, this is just the bit of the science of it. Check out, Dusty Ellen Studios. His stuff is the closest. He talks a little bit about Dime stuff in the mix. there's this bass rig interview where Rex Brown talks about 900 to 2000 hertz of dime being so scooped. That's where Rex Brown sits in the Great Southern Trendkill album. Eric Martin, he's gone through a bunch of the history about the signal chains and the actual pieces of gear. He's talked a lot about the actual pieces of gear. Those all great videos from both of them. Ola England, he dives a little bit into it. Great dude. His dimed IR, however, is great if you need a Jaguar speaker IR. It's like $5 to $7. Do yourself the favor and buy it. Honestly, it already has that pre 1000 hertz cut. But regardless, thank you guys for watching. Like and subscribe. I probably said this was 30 minutes, but like really, this is just showing you. The rest of the talking would just be nailing it into you guys at this point. So, just if you don't have to do it like I do. I'm not saying I am the best, but I feel like I get pretty close with just some simple changes. And look, I get it if you want to be able to save this to your amp. I get it. But this is not just saving it to your amp mode. This is knowing what to do after. I can't magically make a Dimebag tone with everyone's gear. With the random Line 6 pod from 12 years ago or whatever. I can't do that because I don't own that gear. I can't. I'm not a huge person. I am one person by myself with $98 in my bank account. This is the best. I'm working with what I got. I get I have the rare gear right there. That was bought by me. But I can't buy all your guys' pieces of gear. I can't. Mic up your amp. Know how to EQ it. It's really all I can say. I'll see you guys.